This is just going to be a good board froth session. Oh yeah. Had a few sessions on the board now after the reset, and I've got a little list of all the boulders I've made, because there's some classics. I'm going to share a few with you, and we'll go over some of the setting things that I've got in mind, and just go over basically what it's like being on a new wall, because there kind of is a little bit to get your head around. And this new board is quite a different style to the old board that I had at our old house, and it's flipping good. I'm loving it. Bit of a heave ho for that last move. Change it with the feet a little bit, but I guess that's maybe better. It's good though. Our intention is to get this on the Stoked app eventually, because I just think that that is so worth the money. It is awesome. But to do that, you got to lock in your set and have everything kind of there, and to get your money's worth, you want it to be up for maybe 2 years, which is generally around my turnaround time. So in the meantime, I'm marking down all of our good classic problems on some sheets of paper, and we're just keeping a track of that, so then we'll load it in once it's all done. Very good. Love the no feet at the start of that one. Oh, didn't have that hold very well at all. I'm pretty sure there was meant to be a foot in there, but it's not marked on the sheet, so I can't remember. This one's classic. Wouldn't probably pay that. You're not getting it in a World Cup. That is my new favourite hold. Pretty awesome and sloping. And if you hit the wrong spot, there's actually no text at the back of the texture bit, which is kind of just what happened. Kind of fun too, because you can do this move the way I just tried, where you just like wash off and control and then come in, or you tag in. Much harder to like zoop, control it and then come in for the match. Good training. Has been really interesting setting on a totally new board, but with the same holds. Basically, a lot of these holds, except for some of these, all of them are ones that I've had for 20 years, just about 15 years maybe. Like a really long time, so I'm very familiar with them. But you just scramble them up and put them in new context, and suddenly it feels like an entirely new hold, and I just don't know what to do with it. More about that in a minute. Oh, that's better. Hit it in a good spot, feels a lot better, but I got that really poorly as well. Board climbing. Pop the shoes off and have a chat. So it has been weird setting on this again, like in an exciting way, but it's odd because all the shapes are quite familiar, but how they're positioned and what they're doing and what I can do with them, totally unknown. And I found that a really interesting challenge, and it's totally got my brain thinking about how to set again, and it's made me remember something that's quite crucial to setting something that's good, I think. And that's the use of the dangly bits on the end of your legs, your feet. Playing around with the feet that you're going to use makes such a big difference. You can take the same handholds and then tweak the feet and make either a hard problem or quite an easy one, just by playing around with how good or bad the feet are or where they're positioned to try and force a movement. So I was having a session with a couple of mates the other night, and one of them set this boulder, and it's awesome. So I'll do the easy one first and just try and remember exactly what it all was. Not an easy problem with the feet. This holds rad, you like cup this undercling. Using your palm, very underrated skill in climbing, just like squeezing stuff like that. Squeeze. Love this hold too, that's been native climbing and block cartel, like just incredible. Getting a few more of these actually, and this time we're taking out this hand, and that then becomes a foot later on. You got the same essence of the climb, but it became quite a bit harder, and it was really awesome. Whoa. Stood on the wrong part of that. Oh, nearly. It's a really different move, and the generation of the movement needs to come from a really different position, which is super fun. So you got to generate from like much lower and then come up and around, whereas when you're here, you're sort of stuck in that, well, you're not stuck, but you're in a really pretty good back step position. One of the things I was doing as I was setting was making sure that I had like a good footer. Oh, that was nearly an upturned chalk bag. A good footer and a kind of bad one next to it, because it meant I could play around with the difficulty of a move with the feet rather than kind of tweaking the intended move. As such, sometimes it doesn't work out, and that's fine, that's just setting on the board, but it's been really good. Good foot, bad foot. Good foot, bad foot, also hand. Good foot, bad foot, good. There's a lot of options around, and it's a nice thing. Oh yeah! Whew. That's good. I love it. Oh, it's good. And I think there's actually quite a neat trick here. So if you're projecting something on the board and it feels quite hard, you can just swap in a slightly bigger foot or a slightly different position, and you just get the ability to learn that movement in a slightly easier context. And then as the muscles and your body and everything gets used to going bam, 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 that's the movement, you can then reverse back to that slightly harder foot. Maybe this happens over a few weeks or whatever it is, but you go back to that harder foot, and you've got confidence and strength and everything in doing that move. Or the opposite for what we just saw on that boulder. And it's just great. Very nice. I'm colorblind, and even that looks good. Oh. So I've got a set from the Gumba Shed over in WA. Tried it a couple of times. It is hard. Feet actually are a big limiter on this, and we've tweaked it. I'll tell you about that later actually. Yeah, good foot, bad foot, good foot, bad foot, good foot, bad foot. Oh, moonboard. Which one is it? Those that know. Oh, there you go. Good foot, bad foot. Everywhere. This thing is hard. Come close on it though. Feels dangerous wearing these pants, but I love them. Little running shorts, but perfect for summer training. The crux for me, sort of these next couple moves, you hit this, chuck in a heel hook, which is actually quite hard. It's a high hip mobility move. This sucker, which is flipping hard. And there's days where it just feels good and days where it just doesn't. I haven't worked out whether it's like cool conditions or a bit humid and you get like that oozy goo. This thing as well, it's like good, but not quite. Yeah, that just feels... The other night it felt pretty okay. I've generally got quite wet skin, but at the moment, not so much, but not from any like skincare regime. The humidity on that. Oh, felt better, like way better. That didn't feel better. Oh god, real arm burner. Feels like world champs where everyone was getting wet hands. Oh, I think I've stuck that move once. And then that, it is good. Just need a day where that feels nice. Get like one chance at getting it well, and quite a few times I'm like, oh, I can just get it a little bit better, and it just goes like 40% worse. Which is actually like a good thing to practice, is just grab it once and deal with it. You get quite good at being accurate quite quickly. And you also work out that sometimes you don't need it super duper well, and you just keep on going. I don't think I've gone from here to the top, but I've fallen off on that move from the ground, and I've gone from there to the top. Oh. So then the tweak we've played with to make this boulder just a bit easier is swapping this in instead of this. So it still makes the first move quite hard, it's like a weird punch, but it means that that move's better. This is a better heel hook. Ooh. Oh, I think I'm a bit cactus at this point. So then we've got this foot, and you can just... Oh, it's meant to be easier. It is, I promise. So it does take a little bit to get used to how a new board climbs and understanding how all of the holds work, and that's very much the process that I'm in at the moment. And it's only around now that I feel like there's a lot starting to happen. Definitely having more people involved was being fun. The session the other night with some friends was really good because it's like 2-3 times the amount of learning in one session, and just learning how other people interpret the holds has been really good. That's good for like all of the time, but especially on a new board because there's just so much to unpack. There's a ton that goes into setting a board well, and if you want to know my inside tricks, this video right here. Otherwise, more climbing froth right there. We'll see you next time.